Hello again, it's your friendly neighborhood host, JT Wheatley, back for another episode of History Comics Podcast, this time with another edition of Classics with the story The Power of Iron Man by writers David Micheline and artist Romita Jr. This classic trade paperback, which collects Iron Man Volume 1, issues number 120 to 128, collected in 1979, is a classic story in which Iron Man / Tony Stark is beset by enemies all around going after both him and his corporation, while at the same time dealing with a personal issue of realizing he's an alcoholic. David Micheline does a great job in this story, really giving the classic human flaw to Iron Man. Granted, Stan Lee gave him one originally with his bad heart and the fact he had to wear an Iron Man suit just to stay alive. But he adds an extra layer to it because at this point he had found a way to fix his heart where he can operate more or less on his own. But making him an alcoholic was a great twist to his character and was never really incorporated in the movies more or less. But it's great. It works brilliantly in the comic books and it's that classic Marvel human flaw that makes all the superheroes in Marvel great. Is the fact that they're superhuman, but they're still human. They still have a flaw that limits them and makes them relatable. And with Tony Stark, it's Iron Man, it's his alcoholism, and it's matched great by Romita Jr.'s nicely crisp art. He hadn't quite directed his nice gritty style that you eventually see in Iron Man Armor Wars 2 or Daredevil Man Without Fear. He still looks very much like his father in a more straightforward, crisp storytelling, but great art, great storytelling in general, and just a great story to boot. And it's crazy too how you forget how long Romita Jr.'s worked in Marvel. He's just back in 1979 when this was released, and still my favorite artist of all time. This is one of his earlier works that really does show, it does show the hints of his future greatness, but not quite there. But it's still just a great art in general. And just a great story in general. You're looking for one of the definitive Iron Man reads, check out The Power of Iron Man, because that is a true classic.
My name is Mark McCray, and I'm the author of The Best Saturdays of Our Lives.
I'm Dan Klink, co-host of the Best Saturdays of Our Lives podcast.
The Best Saturdays of Our Lives features programming trends from the 1966 television season all the way through the last hurrah of the early digital age of the 1990s.
On the show, if it's animated, we talk about it.
Order your signed copy today at tbsool.com.
And listen to the podcast at esonetwork.com and all podcast platforms.
Now it is January 6, 2022, time for my favorite comic book of the week, The Dark Knights of Steel, number 3, by Tom Taylor and Jasmine Putri, which finds both the Kingdom of Storm and the Kingdom of El preparing for war after the actions of Zala Jor-El has kicked things off with the deaths mounting on both sides, and it looks like it's only going to get worse further on. Tom Taylor does a great job pretty much making a Game of Thrones style of the DC universe, and because it's a limited series and an Elseworlds book, I still like Elseworlds. I know Black Label's kind of thing now, but I still like Elseworlds the best. It makes more sense. He's pretty much allowed to do what he wants, and the characters, the body count continues to mount on this one. With some surprising characters not making it past the end of this issue. So it's a great read in general. There's some great machinations for his secrets come to light. And it's masked by Jasmine Putri's gorgeous art, which has a nice medieval flair to it, which is, of course, perfect for the subject matter. It's essentially DC and medieval times, but with all the superpowers and everything. It's just a great read, and I'm just so excited about this. This is one of the better DC Elseworld books to come out in recent years, and it's like Game of Thrones meets DC, and it works perfectly, and it's highly recommended, so definitely check it out. And with that, we'll definitely want to wish everyone a happy new year with 2022. Hope we look forward to this year, more great comic stories and reads and so forth. It's been only 6 days in so far, and enjoying it. Can't complain about the comic books because, well, I can never really complain. There's always good comic books out there to read. And with that, please, if you can, go out and enjoy yourself a good comic book. And of course, check out The Power of Iron Man, because that is a true classic.